You're listening to the Build Your Wealth podcast, episode number 26. Today I'm going over the top 5 things successful business owners do differently and how you can apply these things to your own life and business. Ugh. It's that time of day again. Time to get up and make someone else rich. Hi there and welcome to the Build Your Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Thompson. Over the years, I've taken the skills I've learned as a dedicated employee in multiple fields and turned it into a thriving 6-figure online business to create a wealth of my own. Now I'm here to teach you how to do the same thing. I share my successes and failures as an online business owner with you to help you avoid the pitfalls that can come with being an entrepreneur in the online space. It's my goal to help you achieve your success faster, adopt the right mindset for that success, and to show you how failing forward is all part of the process in building your wealth instead of someone else's. This is the Build Your Wealth podcast. Well, hey there. Welcome to the Build Your Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Thompson. Whether you're a first-time listener or a weekly fan, I want to say thank you for spending a few minutes here with me today. I appreciate your time and will always try to deliver as much value as I possibly can in as little time as possible because I know how precious time is. It's something we all have the same amount of, and it's something we can't make more of. But depending on how we spend it, it can either feel like an eternity or it can feel like it flies by, right? As entrepreneurs, I sometimes feel like we must even somehow be more aware of that fact. Because all too often, it seems like there's never enough hours in the day to get it all done. Am I right? There are lots and lots of ways to be successful as a business owner. But there are a few key ingredients that are absolutely a requirement to make that recipe really sing, and it'll help speed up your journey to success. Now, that first key ingredient is planning. When you have a game plan in place, it makes taking the necessary action steps so much easier. Because you're not second guessing what you're doing now and what you're going to be doing next. When you're not flying by the seat of your pants, you can get so much more done because the action steps are all laid out there in front of you. Think about it like this. If you're walking into a dark room, you're probably going to be going very slowly, not taking very big steps, shuffling your feet even, so you don't stub your toe on the coffee table or step on the cat's tail. You don't go into that room with much confidence because you don't quite know where that next step will lead, right? Now think about entering that same dark room with a flashlight. That light shines on your path, showing you where you can take your next step with confidence. That flashlight is like your plan. Having a plan puts a spotlight on the best next action steps that you need to take so you can be confident on your path to success. The next ingredient is consistency. And this is a big one that so many of us struggle with, myself included. Customers are attracted to people they know, like, and trust. So the people who show up consistently become the trusted source. If you wander in every so often and say, "Oh, hey, remember me? I posted that thing about that stuff about a month ago. You still interested?" Nobody's going to even know your name, let alone want to hand you their money for something. But when you're there all the time, like clockwork, bringing tidbits of valuable content into their lives on the regular, they'll start to recognize you and relate to you. So when it comes time for the sale, you're the source that they'll know, like, and trust to buy from because you're the one who's always showed up. Consistently being present with your content is so super important. A weekly live video, blog post, email, podcast. Staying visible because yes, out of sight does mean out of mind. The third thing successful business owners do, or perhaps should I say have, is tenacity. Being tenacious means you don't quit at the first sign of a struggle. So you had a customer say no. Big deal. Someone unsubscribed from your email list? Oh well, bye. Just because something bad or undesirable happened doesn't mean you give up. You've heard the saying, one bad apple ruins the bunch, right? But don't throw out the whole bunch and quit. Toss that bad apple in the trash and polish up the rest. A couple things to remember here. If someone says no, it doesn't necessarily mean no. Many times it means not right now. And they're not saying no to you. Too many times we take the rejection of our products too personally. Maybe they don't have the money right now. Maybe they've tried that product before and didn't like it. Maybe their sister sells the same thing and they feel obligated to buy from her. And yes, maybe they're just not interested. But none of these things are a reflection of you. The sooner you can disconnect yourself from the rejection of the sale, the faster your successes will start to roll in. And one more thing, when someone unsubscribes from your email list, that's someone who wasn't meant to be on your path in the first place. You're not going to be everyone's flavor, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, you don't want to be everything to everybody. That's the fastest way to burnout because you'll just be spinning your tires in the mud and frustrated at the end of the day. The fourth ingredient to a successful business is delegation. Knowing when to say when is important. As entrepreneurs, we tend to be doers, and by that I mean we think we can do it all ourselves. But as clever as we are, no one person can be all the things. I'm sure you have many talents and can do just about anything that you set your mind to, but that doesn't mean that you have to. There are things that you're amazing at. Your strengths and passions are your expertise and the areas where you shine. There are things only you can do because you can do them without trying or thinking very hard about it. They basically come very naturally to you. But there are things that you're going to struggle with. And sure, you can learn how to do them. Heck, there's a YouTube video for everything nowadays. I mean, I don't know beans about fixing cars, but if I had to replace a headlight on my truck, I'm sure I could find a YouTube video showing me how to do it step by step, right down to the year, make, and model of my 2017 Honda Ridgeline. But that doesn't mean that I should be trying to do that myself. When there's no other option, sure, that's awesome. But if you can get someone more qualified to do it for you, enter hubby, then by all means, let each person play to their strengths. You need to consider how valuable your time is. Is your time better spent organizing last year's files, or should you be spending your valuable time creating content for your blog, composing great emails for your list, and showing up for your audience on a Facebook Live? Choosing to spend your time in the most valuable way possible will bring the most success to your business. And the last ingredient to being a successful business owner is self-care. It may sound counterintuitive to say, take a break and give yourself downtime when there's so much to be done. But giving yourself time to recharge is vital to your success. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you're burnt out, exhausted, and drained, you're gonna end up dropping the ball and getting frustrated with any struggles that come up. Taking time to rest and refill your cup can make all the difference between making progress in your business versus spinning your wheels and making costly mistakes. Have you ever been working on a project and get to a point where you feel completely stuck and just throw your hands up in the air and give up? Then, after a good night's sleep, you come back to it the next day or even a few days later and it's like, poof, the answer almost jumps out at you. It's the fresh eyes that make that happen. Giving yourself time to step away and recover from the mental pressure gives your mind a chance to sort of reboot. So give yourself grace and allow yourself the time to recharge your batteries regularly. Get a good night's sleep. Take a walk in the fresh air. Get a massage. Take a day off. It's okay to set things down for a bit. I know we sometimes get hell-bent on running full steam ahead towards our goals. I'm guilty of that myself. But sometimes you need to slow down in order to speed up. And here's one more bonus tip for you. Focus on just one thing at a time and go all in on that one goal. Splitting your attention on too many things will only end up slowing down your progress on all the things. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the 5 things that successful business owners do differently. Number 1, make a plan. Number 2, be consistent. Number 3, be tenacious. Number 4, delegate. And number 5, self-care. When done in combination, these 5 ingredients will make for a super successful business. All right, that does it for today's episode, and this is where I leave you until next week. If you liked this episode, please take a minute to hop on over to iTunes and leave me a quick review. That'll help bring my show to more listeners like you. If you know someone who could benefit from this episode, please share it out and #BuildYourWealth on Instagram so I can see your post. If you'd like to see more of what I've got going on in my business, head on over to NicoleThompsonNow.com and sign up to get all my best stuff delivered right to your inbox. Thanks so much for joining me today. That's all for now. I'll see you next time. You've been listening to the Build Your Wealth podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you don't miss an episode by subscribing to the show. I've included any links to specifics mentioned in the show notes section below so you can easily grab them there. I hope you'll consider leaving a review for me and let me know what you thought about the show, and if it helped you or resonated with you in some way, I'd love to hear about that too. Thanks again, and I'll see you over on the next episode to your success.